Coming at you from Bellingham, Washington. This is Two Nuts in the Sack. I'm Julie.
And I'm Gavin.
And this is going to be the first in a series of podcasts because it is just too big to cover in one episode. The Paranormal.
Ooh. That's right. It's just such a vast topic. I mean, even the definition of the word is a little bit much to take. It is the definition, according to dictionary.com, is of or relating to a claimed occurrence of an event or perception without scientific explanation, such as psychokinesis, extrasensory perception, and other purportedly supernatural phenomena. Word first appeared in the lexicon somewhere between 1915 and 1920. The Greek prefix of para, meaning at or to one side of, beside, beyond, ancillary, and the word normal, which is conforming to the standard or the common type, usual, not abnormal, regular, or natural. Putting them together, we get paranormal, which encompasses anything that falls outside the normal. ESP, psychokinesis, UFOs, ghosts, witchcraft, cryptozoology, all facets of the paranormal. Way too much to cover in just one episode without boring your faces off. So, the paranormal has surrounded our lives. Every town has a ghost story. Most people have stories of their own. These stories have been crafted into countless books, movies, TV shows, and podcasts. They fascinate and delight us because at our base, we are curious beings that thirst for things that defy the norm. Honestly, these are some of our favorite things, as evidenced by the sheer multitude of outlets. What are some of your favorite TV shows that feature the paranormal?
My number one favorite would be Supernatural. Two brothers, they call themselves hunters. They go after spirits, ghosts, demons, all kinds of different monsters like vampires and such.
Yeah, it's Sam and Dean Winchester. We love this show. It's been sort of a guilty pleasure. Whenever we fall into that off-season show hole, we turn to Supernatural. I think in the 7 years that we've been together, we've probably watched this series 6 times.
Absolutely.
It's bingeable. It's a great show. But again, it's all about the paranormal. What else you got?
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, anybody's first entrance into the paranormal. Excuse me.
But yet, anytime they find a monster or a ghost, they unmask the villain, and it's not true. It's not real. It's all fake.
They would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids. I don't actually think Scooby-Doo ever found an actual ghost.
I don't think so. Maybe not.
No, it was always like the amusement park operator or something stupid like that. So, any more favorites you got?
Medium.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. Psychic.
Okay. Medium, you really dug Medium.
Yes.
And it's about Alison Dubois, the life and times. But Alison Dubois was actually a real person.
And a real medium.
A real medium, and she claims to have helped numerous U.S. and law enforcement officials solve crimes using just the power of her mind. But the show was actually, it was pretty good. It starred, what was her name?
Patricia Arquette.
That's right. Of the famous Arquette family, but I think Patricia probably made out better than any of her other Well, especially better than Rosanna, who ended up killing herself, but that's neither here nor there.
Wow, Gavin. Sidetracked.
Sorry to bring it down.
Anyways, the real Alison Dubois had her powers tested as a medium by Gary Schwantz? Schwantz?
Schwanz.
Schwantz? Of the University of Arizona, so proven that she is legit.
Yeah, but many other scientists questioned his methodology and even her psychic ability, though he used a true scientific method to figure out her abilities, but may have been swayed because he believed that she had psychic abilities from the get-go. Do you have any other shows?
X-Files.
Oh,
They
X-Files.
dealt with everything.
Seriously, like most people just associate them with aliens and little green men, but Fox Mulder believed it all. We had been watching a few episodes of the X-Files. I think we got through about 2 seasons, and they talk about everything paranormal. They face cryptids, they face vampires and Sasquatches and just weird shit that happens. That
Demons.
Well, I don't know if they ever fought.
They ever fight demons?
I don't think so.
I think I'm getting my shows mixed up.
Probably. But they definitely delved deeper into the paranormal than most other shows at the time were. Like this was crucial to our development when we were growing up in the 90s. It went on for the original run of the series was 9 seasons, and they had 2 seasons in the last couple of years because it was just too damn fascinating to let go. And so it had a resurgence where they tried to sew up the storyline of Mulder and Scully and their kid as a possible enhanced by alien technology being. But honestly, we didn't make it through. Like we tried watching the 2 seasons that they just released, and it didn't capture my interest the way that it did when I was growing up. But my favorite shows,
I was just about to ask you.
Twilight Zone, Outer Limits. While all of these stories were made up, it still just sort of piqued that interest of what could or would happen if the paranormal was real. And it just fascinated me and titillated me, because the Outer Limits did have some pretty sexy parts to it sometimes. But it was just fascinating because they dealt with like these things that you had heard about and these paranormal events that were just so far-fetched yet so fascinating. And then me and our boy Lucky used to like to watch Ghost Adventures. This is Zach Baggins and his compatriots wearing bedazzled jeans, raven black hair, lots of Ed Hardy stuff. And they would go into these haunted sites and they would watch, or they would taunt the ghosts to try and get a response. And then this sort of ragtag group of people would film them and try and capture anything that was paranormal. Like, you've seen Ghost Adventures.
Yeah. Creeps
Like,
me out, man.
yeah. And like, what's the best thing to do when you go into a creepy place? You'd be like, "Hey, fuckface, what are you gonna do? I'm calling you a fuckface. I don't see anything around. Why don't you make this glass move?" I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. And actually, even famously, Zach Baggins has dedicated himself so much to the paranormal that he even bought the Demon House, which was the subject of the Haunting in Connecticut, a movie that was terrible, but the story is fascinating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, it's a devil house, and he procured it because he wanted to investigate it and not have anybody tell him what he could or could not do on site. But on the lighter side of things, I really liked Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. And these were just things that happened to people, and again, all of these purportedly to be real life stories were there was angels, there was ghost stories, but most of them were pretty uplifting and positive, but it was all paranormal because none of these things should have happened the way that they did. I mean, it would be, something like a boy getting rescued in the woods because he was let out by some dog that disappeared when the boy was made it to safety. And he's like, "Oh, the dog led me out." And they're like, "What dog?" So it was paranormal, but kind of inspiring. So that's about what I got for like my favorite paranormal TV shows. I mean, aside from all the superhero stuff, which is also technically paranormal, but it's also fantasy. But anyhow, let's move on to the movies because the movies have been raking it in from the Paranormal Activity series, the Insidious series, all these things that deal with the occult and the paranormal. But what's your favorite one?
The Conjuring for sure. A family moves into a house. The mom gets possessed by a demonic witch. So freaky. And there's this
Yeah.
couple that comes in. What are their names, Gavin?
Oh, it's Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh, they're just this amazing couple that just fights demons
Yeah,
and
they're
spirits
yeah,
and things like that.
yeah, self-proclaimed, and this is self-proclaimed demonologists, paranormal researchers, wackadoodles. Like they realized that what they did was a little out there, but they also realized that what they did was important. And that was one of the things that I really liked about this. Like this one, the Conjuring and even the Conjuring 2, which dealt with another paranormal episode of the Enfield poltergeist.
Yeah, a single mom with her. How many kids does she have?
She had four
Four
kids.
kids. And the daughter is the one that gets possessed.
Yeah, and in this movie, Ed and Lorraine save the day, but in reality, they were just kind of ancillary characters that came in and were like, "Yep, something weird's happening here, but there's not much we can do about it." But that doesn't make for a good movie, so Ed and Lorraine Warren became the saviors of the family of the Enfield haunting. But it was still I still really like the movie. I think I just really like uh I think I just really like the actors that portray Ed and Lorraine
Oh,
Warren.
yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah. And again, I like that I like their team up. I mean, they're real people, but Ed was super skeptical of everything, but was still a very devout Catholic. And he's actually the only person to be a non-ordained, he's the only unordained person that's been allowed to take part in an exorcism ritual that was approved by the Catholic Church.
Right.
And that was sort of the driving force in the end game of The Conjuring, is that they petitioned the church to perform an exorcism, but the church said that there was not enough proof. But Ed Warren had seen enough, and when he saw that the mom was possessed, he decided to do an exorcism of his own. And the lady flipped upside down and on the chair and locked up to the ceiling.
And then fell to the ground, and the
the
chair
ground.
broke, and then she was freed.
Yep. And the exorcism was done. And what was in it? The Perrin family, I believe their name was, moved out of the house shortly thereafter. And thank fucking Christ, because they were living in a haunted house. Again, like this one, like that's like I said, Conjuring 1, 2, the Amityville Horror, The Exorcist, all of these are based on real stories. Now, as shocking and amazing as they get, there still is that little nugget of truth that this was an actual family, or this was an actual event that happened.
Right.
And that is what makes the paranormal so much more interesting. And that is why we couldn't just put this all into one episode, but we have to break it down into an episode. Break down into different episodes. Because, again, all these things appeal to us in general. There was a Gallup poll taken in 2005 that said the actual number is 74%. So basically, 3 in 4 Americans profess to believe in at least one type of paranormal belief. That's ESP, which led the poll with 41% of responders mentioning the phenomena, followed closely by the belief in haunted houses. That was 37%. The poll included topics, like I said, ESP and haunted houses, but also ghosts tied to certain places, telepathy, clairvoyance, astrology, witches, reincarnation, and mediumship. Now, if that ain't a kick in the sack, I don't know what is.
All right.
Wait.
Oh, we're not done yet.
Nope. That's just the conclusion to our let's call this the preface to our paranormal episodes. But you, dear listener, where do your curiosities and beliefs lay? Make sure to comment on this video. Let us know where you want us to go first. We're just having such a great time doing all this, but we want to hear from you. So please, do respond.
Yes, please respond. Give us some feedback. What do you believe in?
We're on Facebook at Two Nuts in the Sack. We're on YouTube, also at Two Nuts in the Sack, but we take out all the spaces, so it's pretty much one word, Two Nuts in the Sack. You can see it on your screen now. Just take out the spaces. Type that into YouTube and you'll find us. But let us know. We want to hear from you.
All right. This is Two Nuts in the Sack signing off.